Welcome back, friends. This is Brandy from Portals and Passports. In this video, we are going to take a tour of the world's newest and largest ship, the Star of the Seas, and we're going to go deck by deck and see everything that she has to offer. So let's go. As we start our tour of this brand new ship, we're going to start right at the very top on deck 18. Now, this is where you're going to find the Grove Suite Sun Deck. Now, this sun deck is set aside exclusively for those staying in the suite neighborhood staterooms. You're going to find those on deck 18 and on deck 17. And this is all that's over here on deck 18. She's a pretty quiet deck. Right over here on the starboard side of the ship, you have a little bit of a peek into the sun deck for that suite class area. And then we're going to hop on down to deck 17 and see what trouble we can find. As we come to deck 17, there are two special areas right over here. The first area is going to be your entrance into the Cloud 17 pool area. That's going to be in that main part of the ship. It's going to be that very top sun deck area. Also over here on deck 17, on the forward side, is going to be the Coastal Kitchen. Now, the Coastal Kitchen is going to be an exclusive dining space for those that are staying in the suite neighborhood staterooms as well. Also over in the suite neighborhoods in the Grove Sun Deck area, you're also going to have special viewing into the Aquadome, which is just 2 decks down. Now, Cloud 17 is going to open up into this absolutely beautiful view of this wonderful ship. And we're going to see kind of a little bit of everything that she has to offer. Here on deck 17, there were plenty of seating. And this is also where you're going to find a really great infinity pool that's right off the side of the ship here on the port side. There was plenty of seating available. There's plenty of shade. This is also where you're going to find the first of many lime and coconut bars. There's some really great seating up here in the Cloud 17 area, not only for lounging, but also for overlooking some of the pool decks below as well into Central Park. Now here on deck 17, they have one of the most unique whirlpools on board. She's kind of in this bowl that hovers right over the main pool deck. So that was a very cool feature to find during our tour. As we continue on through Cloud 17, this is where we're going to come up to the smoking area that's available on Star of the Seas. One of the really nice things about this space is it was a really large space, had some great seating both in the sun and some shade. That was one of the really nice things that we did find on Star of the Seas, is how much shade was available. Also right here over the port side, you'll have a little peek into Thrill Island. Now, as we cross over out of Cloud 17 and to the starboard side, we're going to find the sports court. Now, of course, this is going to be an area where you're going to see a lot of sports free play. There are going to be activities like basketball and some other options available. Now, one of the things that they have brought on board the Royal Caribbean ships and have set aside some areas over here on the sports deck is for pickleball. And one of the really interesting things is they're even offering pickleball lessons during your sailing. So if that's something that you would be interested in, definitely check the schedule to see if you can sign up. Right, you're coming into Thrill Island on the Star of the Seas right when you come in. We have a great towel station. There are towel stations all on board the Star. They are everywhere. You are not going to have a hard time finding some towels on this. So here, when you're coming into the water park, there's great seating. There's also some great cubbies to put some of your belongings and your shoes. And of course, right when we get here, you're going to find the Hurricane Hunter and the Storm Surge. This is also where you're going to find the pressure drop. Now, the Hurricane Hunter and the Storm Surge, these are the family raft rides on board, which is amazing. There are some height restrictions here. There's also some family restrictions here. And then that pressure drop, that definitely has a height restriction of 52. So that's for some big kids right there. Now within Thrill Island, this is the area that they call Category 6, and there are a total of 6 water slides on board the Star of the Seas. 2 of them are raft rides, and then there are a few body slides. There's also a couple of drop slides here as well. Now, if you're wanting to do some of the big one-person rides like the Storm Chasers or Frightening Bolt, this is where you're gonna go. You're gonna go all the way forward on deck 17, and you're gonna take some stairs, my friends, and you're gonna go all the way up. This is actually considered deck 20 up there, which is just crazy. Now, one of these water slides, this one that we're under right now, she's closed at the moment. If you know, you know. So hopefully we will see her open again, fresh and renewed. As we continue on deck 17, we are gonna have a few little stairs to go up. And this is where we are going to find Flow Rider. There is 1 Flow Rider on board the Star of the Seas. And again, she's on deck 17. You're gonna find her in Thrill Island at the water park. And there is some seating right up on the deck as well. We have a gorgeous sunrise at Coco Cay this morning. Now here on the back of the ship on deck 16, this is where we start to see the deck plans get a little interesting. There is a lot happening back here in Thrill Island. Of course, you have all of the water slides, but you also are coming up on Lost Dunes, which is the mini golf on board. And then right across the way, you're gonna see Base Camp, which is a complimentary eatery in the Thrill Island area. But as we sneak right on over here to some more great seating in Thrill Island, we are going to come across the Hideaway. Now, this is going to be the entrance into the adult-only space on board. Yes, you have to go through Thrill Island to get to Hideaway. Now, when I first saw this concept and how the deck plans were going to work out here and how you were going to have to go through Thrill Island to step down into Hideaway, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like that too much. But let me tell you, it works very well. When you step down into the Hideaway area right on the back of the ship, you are going to find that this is just a completely separate area with this beautiful stadium seating right off the back of the ship. You're going to have these great views, whether it's a day at sea or you're at Coco Cay like we are this morning. They have these wonderful whirlpools right near the seating as well. And we're going to even hop on down even further, and this is where you're going to find that infinity pool right at Hideaway. They do have some day beds that are available for day use for rent when you're there in the Hideaway section. There is also going to be the Hideaway bar available here. They have a great towel station as well as some restrooms right in this area. Everything is kind of all inclusive in this one little spot, and it's just right below Thrill Island. Now, the Hideaway bar, she is going to be a great place to maybe take advantage of that beverage package that you purchased for your sailing. This is also where you're going to be able to check in if you rented one of the day beds in the Hideaway Infinity Pool for your sailing as well. Now, this area does have some great locations for seating, both for shade and for sun. One of the things to remember about the Hideaway is you do have to be 18 or older to enjoy this area. Another thing to remember is there is quite a bit going on back here with some deck plans. So you can kind of alternate between deck 15 and deck 16 and deck 17 even as well. Now, hopping back up to deck 16, we're going to go ahead and head on back into Thrill Island. All right, continuing on deck 16, we are on the port side. We have just left Thrill Island, come up the stairs from Hideaway, and this is where you are going to find the mini golf on board. Very fun little area. Wraps all the way around. And again, some great seating. Now we are going to continue on deck 16. Float rider is right over there. We are walking towards the back of the ship. And this, my friends, is a complimentary dining area for lots of bar snacks. This is such a great place. This is base camp. Great seating. And base camp is where you're going to find some tater tots, you're going to find some chicken fingers, smashed burgers, warm pretzels. All of that here is going to be at base camp. Right next door to base camp on deck 16 is going to be deserted. Now this is going to be the milkshake bar, and they have a menu that is just crazy with all the milkshakes that you can have during your visit to Thrill Island. As we head on out of Thrill Island, we're going to go across the way and we're going to go to Chill Island here on deck 16. This is going to be a really large pool and sun deck area with lots of different areas for seating, for recreation, a couple of dining options, and of course we're probably going to pass by a lime and coconut or two. Now, right in this area of Chill Island, you'll also find a side entrance into Thrill Island, which makes it really easy to hop on back there and get to the water park. That's also where you're going to find Crown's Edge and the rock climbing wall as well. Chill Island is going to be where you're going to find the cabanas to rent if you would like one of those for your sea day or for your port day. Now, I think for our next Royal sailing, we would actually love to rent one of these, probably during a sea day. I know that they have them during the port day as well. So if you're not going to get off the ship, you're going to stay on and explore, that may be a really great option. They have a great stage here where they're going to play music during the cruise. And then right up here after this seating, there is some stairs to go down to deck 15. You also have a really fun slide to get down to deck 15, but that is metal in Florida, so, you know, be careful. You're also going to find another location for the lime and coconut. So just in this section alone, you kind of take these little stairs between decks 15, 16, and 17, because again, this pool deck, you can kind of hop all over. There are 3 lime and coconuts. Some of them are going to offer some different options. Here's some stairs right here on deck 16 to go down to deck 15. There's another lime and coconut down there. Deck 16 lime and coconut, that is where you are going to find freeze of the day. That's also where you're going to have your casita check-in if you rented a casita for your port day or your sea day. As we continue making our way towards the front of the ship, we're going to come across another adult-only pool, and this is going to be at the Swim and Tonic. So this is going to be a great little location right in the middle of the ship. It just became an adult-only space not too long ago. This is that swim art bar location. Makes sense that it's only going to be for adults. And then of course you're going to go right on inside. We're still on deck 16. We're going to hop on over. There's another location for the coastal kitchen right over there. And then we're going to start to skip on down to deck 15 and see what we can find. Now, deck 15 on Star of the Seas, this is where a lot of the action is going to be during your sailing. Right here is the Aquadome, and this is a complimentary eating area. This is where you're going to find those specialty booths for barbecue, the crepe station, which we probably visited way too many times. They do have a little bar there. They do have some feta Mediterranean salads and pitas. They were so good. The pig out barbecue was also very good. I highly recommend the macaroni and cheese with the brisket or the pulled pork. Now, the Aquadome. This is probably one of the most spectacular areas on board this class of ship. Now, of course, right when you enter the Aquadome, you're going to get some Royal Caribbean bling, of course. This is also where you're going to find the main entrance to the Aquadome market. And then right in the middle of the Aquadome is the Aqua Theater. And we were able to see Torque, the new Aqua Theater show, while we were on board. And this facility is just spectacular. And then, of course, as we go past the Aquadome Market and the Aqua Theater area, we're going to come up to probably my favorite coffee spot on board, the Rye and Bean. So they had all kinds of specialty coffees and specialty teas. They also have some alcoholic beverages that will have a coffee or tea theme to them as well. As we're coming from the Aquadome Market and Rye and Bean, we're going to go down the stairs here to this part of the Aquadome. Gorgeous seating. This is at the very front of the ship. We have a neighbor today. This area of the Aquadome is called the Overlook. Now, just a reminder, there is no solarium on the Icon class ship. The Aquadome has taken that spot. And here, when you're in the Overlook and you're facing out the beautiful dome, beautiful views of the dome, by the way. As you pan around, you're going to be able to see right here with the stairs that we came down. Here's where the actual Aqua Theater is. It's kind of in the middle part of the Aquadome, but the Aquadome is much bigger than you think it might be because there is all this space behind it. This was hands down probably my favorite area of the ship. Just the seating and the views alone in the Overlook here in the Aquadome made it so worth it to come and kind of hide out back here, have a drink, read a book. And it was just always so quiet and peaceful here. This was a really, really lovely spot. So as we're taking some time this morning, we are still on deck 15. We're in the Aquadome. We are sitting in one of these little pods of seating that you can find for your group. They're just, you walk up some stairs, they're kind of secluded, but you have this absolutely gorgeous view of the ocean. So when you take your sailing on the Star of the Seas, which I hope for you will be very soon, go ahead and sneak away to the Overlook. Grab yourself some of this seating right here with a coffee from the Rye and Bean. Grab your favorite book. Tell your people to leave you alone. You will not regret having some time over here in the Overlook. Now, as we're leaving this area, we're going to be on the other side of the Aqua Theater, and this is where we're going to come up to the specialty dining restaurant, Hooked. Now, this is a dining location that is across several of the Royal Caribbean ships, so this may be familiar to some of you, but this is located right within the Aquadome area. Again, this is another look at the Aqua Theater, and this show, Torque, was amazing. They did a phenomenal job, and some of the tech that they have on board with the water and the lights, even during their preview, which we saw on our showcase sailing, they knocked it out of the park. So we are leaving the Aquadome. As a point of reference, we are forward on deck 15 of the brand new Star of the Seas. She is a beauty. She's just a joy to walk through, to be honest with you. She's just so much fun. Now, as we are heading towards the back of the ship, heading away from the Aquadome, we're going to come right out onto deck 15's area of Chill Island. This little area right here was kind of a little space for some ping pong, but then we have the Cove. The Cove is another one of those areas where I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy their time on board. All of the seating in the shade is just magical. Had some great whirlpools there, and there is also another infinity edge pool, and of course, another lime and coconut. How could we have a pool deck without another lime and coconut? I love it. This pool right here was so fun to have, and the views out here during Sail Away were just really, really incredible. This is probably the space I would tell you to head to if you're really needing some shade, but wanted to enjoy that time in the pool as well. Now, whenever we're sailing on a Royal ship, probably one of our favorite places to head to is El Loco Fresh. And you're going to find that here on deck 15, just right near all of the action on the pool deck, right there off of the cove. And of course, you're also going to have the cantina here as well. So right off of Cantina Fresca, you are going to find that main pool on board, which is going to be the Royal Bay Pool. This is where you're going to find all of that pool action during your day at sea.
We are still on deck 15. We're crossing over midship and we're going to the starboard side, still on Chill Island. If you look to your right, that is going to take you up to Thrill Island where we were. So that's going to take you up to deck 16. But we're going to go to the left. We're going to see all of this beautiful seating right here. And we are just going to go keep seeing what we see. They have these great padded loungers out here by the Royal Bay Pool. Very, very interesting seating. And to no one's surprise, as we come around this way, we found yet another lime and coconut. How fabulous. Now, we are at an intersection where I want to talk a little bit. If I keep going to the right, we're going to go to the Aquadome Market. If I keep going to the left, that's going to take you up to deck 16 for your lime and coconut frozen goodness. If you want to continue on deck 15, after you circle around this beautiful area of Chill Island where you have that main Royal Bay Pool, we're gonna have to walk back, which is totally fine because Royal Caribbean, and for how wonderful they are to us, there's a bunch of shade that we're walking under, so we are totally fine with walking back through this. So let's go and see what we can find on the rest of deck 15.
So there's a lot of tooling around on this big old ship, as you can imagine, but I like to get my steps in because here we are on deck 15 at the Windjammer. And the Windjammer, of course, is going to be that fantastic buffet that we all find on board where we can just find just about anything that we would like to eat during our sailing. This was pretty hopping during breakfast, but they had all kinds of options available. They even had some dietary restriction stations. They had some cold and hot items for breakfast. They even had an omelet station this morning. So there was plenty to choose from for everybody that was there for that morning right before their time at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Now, the Star of the Seas has some great art on board, and right here in the back of the Windjammer, that's where you're going to find a very Instagrammable spot. Now, the Windjammer does have two identical sides, so you can certainly find some great seating and some great options on either side of the buffet for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. going to stop on by deck 14 for a little bit, not only because deck 14 forward are we going to have this really amazing view of Central Park, but this is also where you're going to find the deck 14 entrance into Vitality Spa. Now, this entrance is a great area for a visit for the beauty salon. This is also where you're going to find the smoothie and juice bar. Now we made our way down a few decks that just had some staterooms, and we found our way to deck 8, which is Central Park. Now we really enjoyed our time at Lou's Jazz Bar during our sailing, and we also really liked the Park Cafe that's located in Central Park. This had really great options for breakfast and lunch, especially the salad bar, which was really nice to have on board. We would usually stop in here for a coffee in the afternoon as well. Right in the middle of Central Park is a location where you can access the Royal Promenade down on deck 6. That was a really nice feature to have, just so if you were kind of in the middle of all the action down in the Promenade, you could pop right on up to Central Park if you wanted to. That's the Pearl right down there. We're going to see her in a little bit. Now, there is so much art on board, and it was really prominent here in the Central Park area. Now, over here is Azumi in the park. One of my favorite stops. Of course, they have those signature bubble cones, and they have that takeaway sushi as well. The Great Steakhouse Chops Grill is also here in Central Park. It's one of our favorites, especially if we're in need of a great steak and a good glass of wine. And across from Chops Grill is Azumi Hibachi and Sushi. This Azumi in particular, I just love how they designed this here in Central Park. It was just beautiful. At night as well, Central Park is definitely worth the visit. Now, we got to have a very special experience while on board. We reserved a seating at Lincoln Park Supper Club, and this is definitely a must-do during your sailing. We will have a full video coming soon, so make sure you subscribe. Now, here's a quick sample of our evening.
Might never be brushed or try to be lost, but they wouldn't do for nobody else. Gave me the thrill with all your faults and you still in it to me. One night it had to be.
That experience at Lincoln Park Supper Club was 10 out of 10, friends. It is a must try. Now, as we are headed down to deck 7, we're going to take advantage of these elevators and pop around for a little bit. I love it because you can just tell it what deck you'd like to go to. It's going to assign you an elevator and you're just going to hop on board. Now, one of the things I was curious about with such a large ship and a large number of people on board, if we ever felt like we were crowded or had to wait, that was not our experience, and I was thankful. So we're making our way down to deck 7, and this is where we're going to find Surfside. So this is the family-friendly neighborhood. This is going to take the place on the Oasis class ships where you would find the boardwalk area. And this area is so precious. It is very family-friendly, lots of activities to do together. One of my favorite areas here was the Surfside Eatery. Now, this is another complimentary dining location on board. It has a small buffet inside, serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but it had a lot of great options for adults and kiddos alike. Had those freestyle machines, also had the water, coffee, tea, juice options, and as you can see, great seating right in the Surfside location. Now, within the Surfside neighborhood, there are going to be a lot of activities for families and for kiddos. There is a great arcade on board, and just a quick reminder, parents, that those are pay-for machines. So keep your eye out. There's also a sugar beach here, and of course that fabulous carousel that everybody has come to enjoy both in the Surfside and on the boardwalk area that's on the Oasis class ships. We have a really fun play structure. Just a friendly reminder, this isn't quite under the shade, so be careful with that metal slide. But as you can see, some great seating and some great dining options. And the art and decor in here is just so cute and super family friendly. Now, Pier 7, this is actually a specialty dining location. And the option here is just great. They had both lunch and dinner, and I thought the pricing was fantastic. At lunch at $15 per person and dinner at $25 per person. Now here on the back of the ship in Surfside, you have some great seating, some great cubbies for all of your things to put away while you're enjoying time in the water. And then of course you have Splashaway Bay and a family-friendly pool right off the back of the ship. Now, the Lemon Post Bar, this was a favorite stop for a lot of people, including us. This is where you can get those really fun and festive drinks in the Capri Sun style bag. Also here at Surfside Bites, this is the area on board where you're going to be able to find churros. And so that became very popular very quickly for us. It's also where you're going to find sprinkles for some great soft serve. Now, as we head down from Surfside on deck 7 and we make our way to deck 6, we're going to see another entrance into the Surfside neighborhood. But also, if we go to the left, right through this retail location, this is actually where the entrance to Playmakers is going to be. And right past Playmakers is going to be Absolute Zero, which is the ice skating arena on board. Now, Playmakers has that great layout still where you can see all of the sports games, some great bar activities, of course. And as we head on down to these blue lights, that's where Absolute Zero is going to be, with the brightest sign imaginable on a cruise ship. Head on down these stairs, and that's where the ice rink is going to be with the ice show Soul, and those guys are amazing. Also right back here, tucked in deck 6 is where you're going to find Social 020, the Teens Club on board. Back at our deck 6 Surfside location, this is where the Adventure Ocean entrance is going to be. And this place is magical for your kiddos. This was a really fun place to visit on embarkation day. Now here you're going to want to visit the AO Theater. This is where you're going to register during embarkation and where you're going to be able to pick up your kiddos' WOW band. Now Star of the Seas has the technology to where you can see where your kiddo is anywhere on board if they have that WOW band.
All right, so this is the arena, and one of the things I love about this area is that it really is kind of like a gym almost. There is plenty of area over here for everybody to kind of get their wiggles out while they're in the club. And so you just have plenty of space. They even have like a little kickball area right here, which is awesome. I love the big Connect Fours. So even if they're spending some time in here, it's not just sitting down, arts and crafts, or playtime with people, or even on games. There is plenty of space in here for them to play.
Adventure Ocean has several spaces available for all kinds of activities for the kiddos, including a theater. They even have a space for little toddlers and a nursery for your little ones as well. As we make our way continuing on deck 6, we're finally going to get to the Royal Promenade. And of course, we have the all-time favorite Schooners Bar here on deck 6. And then right across the way, we're going to find Bolero's. Now, Bolero's is also going to be another one of the bars on board, very popular with guests. Not only are you going to be able to listen to music here, but you're also going to be able to take some salsa lessons as well. Now we are going to still stay on deck 6 and we're going to head on over to the Pearl Cafe. And this is a great place to get some work done if you need to, because there are lots of plugs in the seating area. You can also get to the Pearl Cafe going through this beautiful staircase right through the Pearl from deck 5. Now, the Pearl Cafe, she is a complimentary dining location, and one of the best things about it is she serves Starbucks coffee and she's open 24 hours a day. Now, also on deck 6, we're going to find two little areas that are kind of tucked away. And the first area right here is going to be the Crown Lounge. Now, this lounge is going to provide a special exclusive space for those Crown and Anchor Society members that are Diamond and above.
So we are forward on deck 6, and right across from the Crown Lounge is the Royal Escape Room, and we do have some time set aside on this sailing to do one of the escape rooms. So we're really looking forward to that.
Another area nearby on deck 6 is going to be the top level of the fitness center. Now, we're going to find some personal training space on the top level of the fitness center, as well as some consultation areas. Of course, with a ship this big, we're going to expect a lot of the areas to be big, right? You're also going to find on deck 6 the attic space. This is going to be the comedy club. They also will host different events during your sailing as well in here. Today they were doing an art show. And then right across from the attic is one of the more popular venues on board, the Dueling Pianos Piano Bar. Every time they had an event in here with the Dueling Pianos cast, it was so full and so fun. This was a really enjoyable venue. Now, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to the schedule because they happen at all times during your sailing, and it is something that you do not want to miss. It was so much fun. Right after the Dueling Piano Bar, still staying on deck 6, of course, we are coming to one of my personal favorites, the specialty dining restaurant Giovanni's. And this is in a great location right in the promenade, had a wonderful wine bar as well. And we just loved this location. Once we were done with deck 6, we headed on down to deck 5.
We're coming up on the promenade. We're going to have a couple of things located in aft. The first that we're going to have is Next Cruise. That is where you can go to put a deposit down if you're looking to do another sailing on Royal Caribbean. They are going to be able to help you there. There's a couple of different programs they have. The Thorn and Thistle is the pub on board. That is where we're losing all kinds of trivia. You're also going to have right over here on the left-hand side, or port side, I should say, guest services. And then you're going to have port merchants. That's where you're going to find, they have, of course, lots of liquor in there, but they also have some essentials and snacks as well. So, like if you're looking for Pepto-Bismol, Dramamine, Tylenol, this is where you're going to find it.
Now, on the Royal Promenade, this is also where you're going to find the pub on board. For Star of the Seas, this is going to be Thorn and Thistle. And of course, this is a very lively place, especially in the evening. We were here several times during our sailing as they hosted a lot of different trivia options. We lost every time, but it's okay. It was so much fun. There's a little stage in here where they do have live music. They also have a fantastic pub. The staff here was so amazing. And then at the 1400 bar here in the Royal Promenade, this is just a really sweet space, very quiet, very calming, but we loved the outdoor space that they had. There are two areas to hop right on out to this outdoor space. You're actually going to see this space when you come on board during embarkation day, as both of these areas are where you're going to embark the ship for your very first time. And then right here, you're also going to have access to the walking or jogging path that's going to lead you down to the fitness center. And then, of course, in the middle of it all is the grand and magnificent Pearl. Of course, this is the very first eye-catching piece of the promenade that you're going to see right when you embark, and she is just amazing.
As we continue forward on deck 5 from the Pearl, right behind the Pearl, there's actually a little seating area. There's another outdoor seating area as well. Again, that track is going to run through this area, but right back here along this beautiful seating area we are going to find this little desk right here. This is where you're going to come if you need any help with shore excursions. So the shore excursions desk is behind the Pearl on deck 5. I love all the seating. There is so much seating on board. It could be one of the reasons why we just have not really felt so crowded. I feel like they are really trying to accommodate as many spaces for as many people as possible for it not to feel crowded on board. Because, I mean, this is a big ship and she can be very overwhelming if you're not careful, but we have not really felt that so far. So on our left, as we're walking forward on deck 5, this is where you're going to find your Royal Caribbean store. We may or may not have already been in there. This is where you're also going to find the full Starbucks on board. As we go deck 5 forward, this is where you're going to find a fantastic venue that is always busy. This is going to be Spotlight Karaoke. Let's go take a peek. We've done trivia quite a lot in here too. This is a fantastic venue. So we're coming out across from the wonderful Spotlight Karaoke. We're gonna find Sorrento's. I feel like everyone finds themselves at least here once a day. This happens to be one of the most convenient freestyle stations if you have the refillable cup on board. There are lots of people here all the time. The best thing about Sorrento's is she opens at 11 a.m. and she doesn't close until 3 a.m. So she just has a very quick turnaround and then she is back to making pizza for everybody. Of course, that's a complimentary place to eat. More shopping. Solera Beauty is on board. And of course, they have a couple of jewelry options as well. So when you follow the track on deck 5 and you follow it all the way forward on the ship, that is going to bring you to the fitness center. This is also where you're gonna find the start line for the track. And of course we have a slow side and a fast side. If you know me, I'll be on the slow side. We'll go take a peek at the fitness center this morning.
Now, the fitness center on board is quite big. There were several different areas to the fitness center where you could find all kinds of machines, group classes, and equipment that you can use during the sailing. And of course, this is where you're going to pick up that jogging track as well. Now, right here along the track on deck 5 is where you're going to find a service animal station. Now, as you're on board the Star of the Seas, don't forget to keep an eye out for Sailor. She is the Star of the Seas chief dog officer, and she is so precious. Now here also forward on deck 5 is where you're going to find the balcony entrance to Royal Theater, and then on deck 4 is where you'll find the main entrance to the Royal Theater. On the Star of the Seas, this is where you're going to see the show Back to the Future. Now I will have to say, this was one of the most fantastic shows at sea that I have ever seen. The tech in this show and the cast, absolutely brilliant. Now, midship deck 4 is where we're going to find Casino Royale. Now, this is a very large, expansive casino on board. Of course, lots of slot machines. They also had some table games as well. On our schedule during our sailing, they offered quite a few times where you could do learn how to play sessions, which I thought was just so neat to have during your sailing. There was plenty of space, a great bar in there as well. You can also access Casino Royale from deck 5 in the Royal Promenade. There are escalators, yes, escalators on the ship to have you go right on down into deck 4 for the casino. You'll also take those escalators to go down to deck 2 to go to the gangway whenever you arrive at port. Now on deck 3, this is where you're going to find the music hall. Now deck 4 out of the casino has a balcony level that you can see, but the main entrance is going to be on deck 3 forward. And in here they had live music quite a few times during our sailing. It was a fantastic venue for that. Now, this venue will also serve as the bingo venue during your sailing, and we also had some trivia in here as well. It was a very lively atmosphere, very feisty trivia for Taylor Swift. There were a lot of Swifties on board with us. Your way to deck 3 in aft, or the back of the ship, this is where you're going to find the dining room for the deck 3 location. Now, this is the entrance you're going to use if you want to have breakfast in the dining room. Now, the dining room is going to be on decks 3, 4, and 5. You'll be able to see your assigned table on your seat pass, your card that you will have while you're on your sailing. And this is an absolutely gorgeous venue. We had a great breakfast in here and a great dinner as well.
These are our awesome people this morning. What are y'all's names?
Levin, I'm Levin.
And I'm
Yeah.
Ramesh.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So we have excellent help this morning. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on a tour of the Star of the Seas. We hope it is helpful as you begin to plan for your upcoming cruise. Be sure to check out our other adventures during our sailing and let us know in the comments if you will be cruising soon on Star of the Seas. Have fun, and we will see you next time.
But they wouldn't do for nobody else. Gave me the truth with all your faults and you still in it. One night you had to